Hi everyone, welcome to today's pre-attraction for diagnosis. I'm Philia, current regional manager for OGT, but you may think that it's so weird why like a regional manager OGT is coming to deliver a session for oGV pre-attraction, right? While I want to tell you that before I become regional manager, I has been working for oGV for my whole life, even when I was MCP, I working for 6 months as well. So that's why I want to share a bit more in terms of like how oGV pre-attraction should be look like. So today we are going to firstly talk about the clarity of why pre-attraction is very important, especially for diagnosis right now. Secondly, we will go through a bit the elements for market research, and last but not least, we're going to talk about like what we should do right now in order to prepare for our pre-attraction for oGV. So to begin with, let's invite Ni and listen to her story about pre-attraction.
My experience when I was oGV, it's about synergy, it's about reattraction. So at that time, the thing that we pushing a lot is, and the thing that we concern more is conversion rate from start to upline. And in this, I know that it's gonna be the thing that most of the people here you asking about, right? Why the start to apply is very low. And then there's one thing that I realized that the lead management, even we do very good, but then if we don't figure out what is the root cause, we cannot know how we can improve this conversion rate because it have more root cause problem. And because of that, in the second semester, when I prepare for the summer peak, we start to do a lot of research. First, we want to understand why customer drop. So we do a customer behavior. And after we do customer behavior, we realize that the problem affect to the whole funnel before and even after. And because of that, we do the funnel review and the network capacity review to see what is the thing that network communicates to customer. And but then after that, when we talk with network, we realize that it's not because they don't know how to do. It's because the capacity and the market is not balanced. So for example, some market is very potential, but then there's no one to take care. Or for some LC, they have too many sign up form, but then they don't have enough people. And because of that, we come up with the strategy that we're gonna balance the resource, right talent in right place. So the thing that I want to share with you right now is from a very normal concern about conversion rate from setup to apply that we talk about every day. When I actually have time to do the reattraction and when I have time to look into what is the problem, then I figure out that it's more than just conversion rate of setup to apply. And the solution is also even more than just solving the list management or just improve some short-term KPI. And also that is the reason why I will hide this. Sorry. Hi, ruler. Hi guys. Okay, so you look better now. So and because of that reason, I just want to let you know that if you think about reattraction as a pressure to fulfill the checklist, then it's not the meaning of reattraction, because the initial meaning is we start reattraction so that we can have a chance to understand about what customer think, do, and feel. And then and also from that we can have a chance to look into how we can make the customer aware, understand, trust, and love our brand. And when they love, they're gonna make decision to go on the be the product. So it's the whole meaning of the reattraction, and the checklist is just like a reminder for you. And especially in this situation, what I want to let you know is everything that you got from the transition, even from my experience, if I share with you, it's may gonna be different from right now, because in the new normal, the way to approach a good reaction is not the same. Even with the same checklist, we can have a very different way to approach. Cool. So that's what the meaning of the reattraction that I want you to be thinking about it.
So after talking about all this, when you come to this session, I'm not sure do you have this feeling or not. You may feel like, wait, what? I just finished pre-attraction. Why I have another fucking pre-attraction again? Oh my god, am I going to do all the research again? I know that feeling because I know it takes so much effort for that. So in this session, the purpose of having this session is to help identify the problem that we are facing in the organization, and also help us to and also pre-attraction help us to determine the cost in terms of management and plan the solution for that. So that's why this diagnosis is a very powerful consciousness raising activity, which it help us to which is in its own right, and also um, it has a meaningfulness lies in the action of its induce. So pre-attrition is very important to help us to find the problem. And I think just now when I listened to you guys sharing about the scenario, right? Which I think the research part is quite similar to the macroanalysis. But then at the end of the day, I think like if you don't go and really understand it again, like you will never know what's really happening. Cool. So that's why in here for the pre-attrition diagnosis, now we are in the middle of the COVID-19, and for COVID-19 outbreak, it has been amplifying a lot of problem in our subsystem, which means we had that problem before already, but just we getting more serious of that. For example, operation, membership, finance, and partner. And also one of the most alarming thing is about our financial sustainability. So that's why we need to have a plan in order to see like how we can allocate resources to retain our current membership, but at the same time, how we can diversify the risk for the organization. Okay, so yeah, so that's why I think you guys will have heard about it. You guys are working on the recovery plan, and your predecessor was doing a qualitative analysis before. I hope it takes help you to take it forward. So to have some question, let me ask you guys something. So did you guys attend the commission call with me before? Okay, because it determines how much I need to talk. Any of you guys heard about it before? Go to her commission call before? Okay, if no, I assume you don't know. Okay, I'm not sure have you see this document before about market research A to Z. So it's with going with your predecessor. I can show you guys here, so you can see whether you see this before, and you can tell me. It's very slow. My internet. Sorry. Have you guys seen this document before?
No, it's new.
No, it's new. Okay, it's fine. So remember to read it, my recommendation, because for me personally, I think it's very useful. I mean, I also learned a lot from that as well. And it also covers everything you need to know regarding to market research. So we have we have put the link here. Okay, so remember check it, and there's there will be two part of the analysis that we are going to look into. Sorry, we'll introduce a bit. The first one is about macroanalysis, and the next one is about microanalysis. So Phileas has been talking for a very long time, so let's have some activity. So I will go to, okay, everyone needs to answer. You can take turn. So I will ask you what is this, and then you're going to explain it in 30 seconds. So the first one is pesto. Okay, anyone can tell us what is pesto?
And it's a way of analysis, which means it's an acronym. Political, then economical, social,
technology.
And I forgot about T. Then E means technology. Then E means
amazing.
environmental.
Good
and
job,
means
guys.
legal.
You know it well. Yes, this is one of the macro analysis tool called Pesto. Like what you guys mentioned before, and it helps you to understand the external environment and see what are the potential strength and weaknesses, and also it also helps you to figure out especially opportunity and threat coming externally, and how does it affect your operation. Cool. So next one, 5 forces, or the full name is called Porter 5 forces. Anyone know what is that?
It's basically the analysis on the competitors, like in knowing your organization much better, like comparing with other people competitors. It's the Porter 5 forces. Yeah.
Yes, amazing. So Porter 5 forces is there has been defined the 5 forces that will affect the referral of you inside of your industry. Okay, so for our industry, it's called non-formal education. Okay, so you can research more about it. And in terms of that, you were going to analyze on supply and demand, as well as analyzing on your substitute, and also your new barriers of new entry. Okay, so that's why at the end of the day, you will know like how's the rivalry with your competitor. Okay, so I'm not going to go deep down to that. So if you want to know more, you can also find on YouTube. So last but not least, this one is the easiest. What is SWOT? Okay, anyone want to explain it? I thought
Strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. I think everyone in ISEC knows this.
Yes, amazing. You guys know it very well. Yes, it's right. And also one of the things you can also try into is, besides analyzing your own entity, I mean ISEC, what is our strength, SWOT, I mean strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. You can also try to analyze your competitor as well to see what are the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. For example, how is different between us and also like Rotary. I know like, or Red Cross or any organization like this, like how's the differences on our product and how in terms of volunteering. Yeah, so you will see what is your competitive edge and what is the weaknesses compared to your competitor. Okay, cool, amazing, guys. You guys know it well. So one of the things that we want to look deeper into, and we can suggest you can try to do it, is called TOES. Any one of you heard about this before? Okay, if no, you can say no. So I will go with it. Okay, no one replied. Assumes no. Okay, I think this is a very interesting one. I also do it when I was LC as well. Maybe not a trend right now, but then like it's a really good framework that you can look into. So for TOES, right? Just now we were talking about SWOT, but TOES is a level up of SWOT. Okay, so in here, after you identify all of the internal strength and weaknesses, external opportunity and threat. So how we call it, actually, this is the resources of you inside of the organization. For example, in here, you will be able to see like, I mean like in here, because you can see internally what are the strengths and what are the good resources internally and what are the not that good resources internally, and also externally, what kind of resources or that you can take leverage, or it will be some bad resources that it may potentially harming you, right? So with all this, we're going to create strategy and mixing the resources together to see how we can make a strategy to level up our current operation. So the first box between strength and opportunity, it's called maxi strategy. What does it mean? It means in this box, you are trying to use your strength to maximize your opportunity. For example, in ISEC, one of the strengths we have is word of mouth marketing, right? And also opportunity is like externally what we can see is like the trend about people will be more credible when they have more user review, especially they're coming from families or friends. I mean, this is some external market research, so you can go look into that. And based on that, actually, ISA have this strength in terms of like we can use word of mouth marketing to helping our product to be more credible, and also we get more referrals to get more sign up or even apply as well. Okay, and the second one is about strength and threat. Okay, we call it maxi mini strategy. So for this one, it means that like strategy that we use our strength to minimize the threat. For example, one of the strengths of oGV is like we have a very big membership. But then one of the threats that we are going to have is, for example, we lack of physical, we cannot do physical attraction because of COVID-19. So what are the strengths that you can use is we can use membership in terms of like how we can doing more seeding digitally to help us minimize the threat. Okay, so the next one is about weaknesses and opportunity. What does it mean? It means like we create strategy that to minimize weaknesses by taking advantage of the opportunity. Okay, yeah, and the last but not least is about weaknesses and threat, which means these are the strategy to try us to minimize the weaknesses and avoiding some of the threat coming up as well. I hope you guys can have a clear view on that. And with all this, it is a very good framework for you to brainstorm your strategy. Yeah, so I hope it's clear. Okay, now we will going to look into micro analysis. Okay, so let's do the same task again. Anyone can tell me buyer persona? Okay, that's easy, I think. Anyone?
To describe our target customer,
Yes, true.
like
so
the
like
profile. Yeah.
Amazing. Exactly. So this is the way that how we visualize our customer, like in terms of segment and target audience. And yeah, and it helps us to know like, okay, in order to reach these people that visualize in front of us, what are the strategy we're going to use. Okay, the second one is about target segmentation. Okay, anyone want to explain it?
To see the volumes, like after we have the profile, so how many people in that profile.
Yes, exactly. Cool. Yes. So I think in the slides that just now we share, like it also have some text on like how to define the segment as well. So you guys can refer to it. Next one. Okay, this one is easy. Survey and interview, right? So I will change the question a bit. What is the difference between survey and interview? Okay.
Survey, survey is a quantitative, and then interview is quantitative. So interview can give us more exact result or answer that we want because we directly interview the person. And then survey is we just blast out to our profile and also our target. Yeah.
Yes, amazing. So this is really correct. And one of the things that I want to add on is for survey, it will be a way that the data will be more generalized because you collect it through the same questionnaire, and the follow-up question may not be very in-depth as in interview. So survey is a way that to validate in a massive way, while interview is helping us to really follow and see what is the behavioral change in our customer. And last but not least, of course, after all this analysis, right, you're going to summarize and summarize and getting the key insight from the data. So I hope you guys have clear about like between macroanalysis and microanalysis. So one of the examples that you can think of, especially it will be very helpful during this period of time, is called SAFE. I'm not sure, did you guys hear about it before? Okay, seems no. Okay, it's okay. So SAFE, it means solution, access, value, and education. I think you can see it here. But why is it very important? Because traditionally, when we look into marketing, right, and sales, usually we will talk about 4P, which means product, place, price, and promotion. But at this period of time, I think we also have a concern about our demand, right? And I think like GV is not the only one having it. I mean, just because the value proposition is a bit different, that's why they have a comparison of that. But I think generally within all the business, it's gonna be the same as in we cannot just directly ask people like, okay, come and buy our product. But then the question we need to think about is whether the product that we are providing is really the solution to help them to solve their problem. So that's why when we're able to meet their needs, then they will buy the product, but not because of our feature, our function, or technology. Secondly, it's about instead of thinking about place, we should look into how on access. What does it mean? It means before we will always look into the channel, the place, right? For example, which place I go do promotion, then I will get more customer. But then right now, you know, we trying to manage attraction in a virtual way, right? So that's why what we need to think about is like what are the cross channel presence that we can have in order to access more people, and it can help us to jump out our current box to think about how we can access more people. Then yes, the next one is about price. So instead of thinking price, we should think about value. A lot of people think that like, yeah, we want more people to buy, then let's cut the price, let's give discount and people will buy. Okay, but at the end of the day, it doesn't run like this, because especially after COVID-19, the customer behavior, they will be more cautious when they're spending. They will be more selective when they're spending. So that's why it's important that instead of thinking about what is our pricing strategy, we should think about like how does our price really correlated to the values that we are providing, and we're trying to show that this is the product that have the values and it will be their solution. Then that's why people will be willing to pay the price for it, because they think it is necessary. Okay. The last one is about instead of thinking promotion, we should think about education. And I think this has been a long conversation already, because I think, let's see, you guys always talk about, we always talk about lead nurturing, right? So actually the way of doing lead nurturing is quite different, because when we having people coming inside of it, instead of we directly keep promoting, okay, go exchange, like buy a product, you will be able to see externally people changing the way how they run. Is we're trying to send relevant information to our customer in order to help them, to educate them with why they need this product. And that's why, and it helps them to create that need. So after that education, then people generally will have a demand on like buying that product. So yeah, so that's why it will be quite different from like how we used to have in terms of advertising, PR, or personal selling as well. I hope it's clear. So before we go into the next part of it, any questions? I hope it's no.
Clear.
Okay, right? Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Anyone speaking? No, right? Okay, cool. So next part, we will going to have some reflection time. Okay, so that's why I hope I have answered all of your questions already. I'll give some time you guys to think. So I want you to look into the first question is like, what are your previous finding in your market research? Okay, I will give you guys 1 minute time to think about this question. Okay, cool. Is everyone done? Okay, no response. I hope you're done. So coming into the second question that I want you to think about is, what were the challenges that you have been facing during the process? Cool. So now coming into the last question. So what are the common pains and gain do your customer have? So now I want to have some sharing time. Can I have 2 sharing? Anyone want to share?
Hello. I'm here. So, for the first questions, like from the research, what I find is that what are the potential markets for my entity to do, and the second thing is the buyer personas, like um, I mean the customer persona, like what kind of projects are the most suitable for them, or yeah, kind of like that. So these are the main 2 things that I find out from the research. And for the second question, the most difficult part is the interviewing the EPs, because we are doing micro analysis also. So when it's come to the part of like interviewing the EPs, like it's kind of difficult to conduct the university authoritative or and setting the interviews. So and another thing is that different perspective from the different markets and LCs. Like we are having a discussion space for them, and we kind of like having a difficult time, like because there are a lot of different perspective from different people from interview. Yeah. So about the pains and gains point. So the pain point from Myanmar people is that they are university students. They are really searching for opportunities for like going exchange, for going abroad, because we are kind of like spend most of our time in class. So they're really searching for this. This is the pain point, and the gain point from ISO we can give them is that what kind of opportunity we can give to them, kind of like that. Yeah. So that's it.
Ooh, amazing. How about any other people sharing?
Here. So yeah, this session let me like notice that we haven't started this year market research, but I will talk about the question 2, because I think we have been facing the same problem that every year we do another marketing research in terms of different target, maybe GV, GT. We are actually facing the same group of people, and the result of the survey may not that effective and trustful for us to do the following analysis. So yeah, that's a problem. I think we might to need to like fix, yeah, to get more confident results.
Okay, understand. Cool. So I think like I really agree with you guys in terms of that's why in the beginning of the session I was like, hey, if we do registration again, it seems hard, right? I understand how does it feel, because you need to find a lot of people doing interviews, and you really spend a lot of energy and effort for that. And also in terms of the market, is also very important is whether you can find the right market segment for that. And I think that was the sharing from MOC, right? So I think it's really valid that like whether we are tapping into the right segment of it. And I think that is one of the biggest learning as well when I was MC and LC as well, about finding the right market segment, and especially externally, like every 1 decade or 2 decades, the whole environment will change, have a big change. Like for example, I don't know, like 1 or 2 decades ago when iPhone coming out, right? So that's why the whole environment changed. And maybe COVID-19 is also one of them as well, because customer behavior is generally changing, right? And how people purchasing things is also changing as well. And that's why we will always need to refresh our segment, whether we are tapping into the right segment for that. And thank you for you guys sharing. I really appreciate it. It's really valid, and it's really like thanks for vulnerability. And I'm not sure if do other people have the same problem as well, but I think generally people are facing the same issue in ISAC or even externally outside ISAC as well. So That's why in the coming time, when we're going to talk about external and internal analysis, we're going to have some more information for that. So in terms of external and internal analysis, right, I think we have been mentioned before already, because the travel restriction may be oscillate and also seems unpredictable, right? So that's why the nature of GV may be, the demand will be different again. So that's why we need to see like how we can adapt faster again when the travel restriction lifts. So that's why we will see how we can, where is our customer again. Secondly, is also learning from March is like we also have a massive loss on customer relationship when EP stuck in other border. I'm not sure, do you have cases like this before? But then I see, for example, I talked to like Indonesia or any other country, they also entity, they also have similar problem as well, because of like how GV that we run, that mostly EP are paying by themselves. So if they get stuck, they even need to pay more on that, and they may not even have enough budget for it. And of course, the decision about like the organization is also making tough and faster as well. I imagine if you're working with school having kids, or you are, I don't know, other NGO working with people that who are vulnerable, most probably these are people really need to be protected, and that's why NGO may and school may take a tough decision on that as well. That's why that's how it's externally affecting us. And I think the last one, this one is quite obvious that I think in the last session in GV principle, I hope you have heard about it already. So it's about like the value proposition of GV is about like how it can it's about taking the needs of helping other people, which means it is on the self-fulfillment needs. It that help us to, okay, I feel good to help people and I can give and take, and that's why it's a very like high level on needs, and it may not be necessary essential need. That's why it will be something that we need to research and think about. And I'm not telling that there's no people want to go helping others, but generally maybe the people will change based on the customer behavior. So I think you can also look into that. And of course, internally with the sustainability level, I think generally in AP, actually, we are relatively lucky already for, especially with the whole OGX, especially with oGV as well, that we were not doing any discount campaign mostly. So that's why our sustainability level is relatively good in oGV. But then maybe the problem is coming from IGV itself because of the financial model on how we charging EP and whether we are charging partner or not, and how we are covering accommodation. So that's why it also gives us like some financial implication on like how we can reduce the risk in terms of accommodation and pricing. And the next one, which I think it will affect oGV more, is like how the visa and border situation, whether after we uplifting the travel restriction, right, whether the visa process will be changed. And I think this part really need your research and talk and your conversation with your IR partner. So that's why you will see like which are the potential partner you can still working with. And that's why it affects the last point is about S&D inside and outside of the region as well. So with all this, so I want you to go to the spreadsheet. We have an activity. So I think you guys have the link before already, right? Gina. So with this spreadsheet, you guys have it already, right? And there's a last tab is called oGV pre-attraction. Do you guys have it? Do you guys duplicate one? Yes. So you can go to your own spreadsheet. So you don't need to duplicate one, just go back to that spreadsheet. Okay. So we will have some personal working time. Okay. So I hope you can it's lagging. Wait. Okay, yes, here. So we can go to the last tab for pre-attraction diagnosis for oGV. So what I want you to do is take some time, okay, to go into the spreadsheet, and then afterward, like look into the question here, especially with here for pre-attraction, okay? Yes. So then I want you to look into it and see like about the oGV condition from the section. So like I want you guys to have some working time to see like where is your entity right now and what is the way forward that you can do in order to find out the answer. Do you have any questions? Okay, I hope you don't have. Can you guys open the spreadsheet? You have it, right?
Yes.
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 Oh, thanks for
Yeah.
answering. Yes. So so can you guys take some time to look into that, and then I will give you, let's have 5 minutes time, then you can go through and see how much you can go through for that. Cool, amazing. How's your progress, guys? Oh yeah,
It's
yes, can see
again?
now. Yes. Cool.
All right. So I have written where my entity stands right now. And as for Pakistan, for the first question, that the current state of oGV in my entity, and due to the coronavirus, there's like a very high risk due to increasing cases, and like we have no idea when the situation will improve. So there's not a lot to go on about it. Then it's like how much does my entity depend on it financially? And for that, like oGV for ASIC Pakistan is the only and major source of revenue for the entity. So in case this does not, the situation does not improve, then there could be a financial crisis, and we would have to go to either BD or OGT for other sources of revenue. But it would be a financial crisis for the entity. And then it's how is the program and all the LCs. This program for oGV was flourishing in all the LCs before COVID-19, and after that, all of them have suffered a lot of losses, whether financially or with relationship with the EPs as well. And afterward, it's what is the current state of the oGV conditions in my entity, and like as per the requirements given in the sessions, it will be very hard to conduct exchange because of the government policies. And since Pakistan is in a quarantine state right now, so like there's a border crisis and they're not opening international flights as well. And then they're talking about safety measures and regulations that are present inside the country to conduct exchanges. And even that is not something that is going in a good state, because there are overall lack of safety measures, which kind of make it very, very hard to conduct exchange at this point. And as for the university timelines, they have gotten affected, but they haven't gotten affected that much. So in the scenario that summer exchange or situation does improve by that time, then there's a possibility that then we can do exchange. So yeah, I think that's all I've got.
Okay, so one thing I see is like you haven't typed the way forward, right?
Yeah, I haven't done it right now. It's like,
it's okay. So what I want is like everyone after you listen, do you have any suggestions for Rafe? I hope I pronounce it right. So do you have any suggestions? Okay, less sharing is caring. By the way, thanks for your sharing, Rafe.
Okay, I'll stop now, okay?
Yeah. Anyone want to give advice to him? I think personally I have one. I think like it's also part of my size as well, but I will tell you guys here is like I think I understand that at this point of time maybe like a lot of operation is hard to run, right? And a lot of entities start shifting into looking into EWA that you can generate pretty revenue, right? And at this point of time, yeah, maybe it really helps solving us our financial issues. And of course, one of the biggest learning like in the future is like we always need to take care of our finance because you will never know when is the next crash coming up, right? But then like also looking into one thing is like when you're looking into having EWA, right? Like having different engagement activity, how do this engagement activity can help us to gain and retain the awareness of people towards ISAC? So that's why in the coming time when things are getting better and recover, or RGV is getting more sustainable, and you can have opportunity to send EP, like you can like the market is ready to go for it, and I think a lot of people has been looking into that. So that's why like it will be shifting into a question is like how the coming engagement that we are going to do with the with external and generate PD revenue, but at the same time it have a sweet spot that can help us in future conversion for the product itself as well. And it's not like one another. It's not I do PD and I forget another thing. It doesn't run like this. But then I think at the end of the day, it really like even though like the resources is going into PD, for example, but then it at the end of the day, it will still come back and bring benefit to your oGV. And you need to even you shift the resources, you can still find a sweet spot in between of that, and it may help you in the future operation. Or maybe at the end of the day, like our dreams really come true is like EUR can be our like a big source of like how we converting our customer as well. Yeah. So yeah, I see Mina, are you going to share?
Yeah. Yeah, because I wanna give something. Yeah, because right now we have a kind of marketing sales funnel, and then pre-attraction is like the top of the marketing sales funnel. Then I think we can redesign the marketing sales funnel to fit with your entity. To actually we can run EWAR, but we shouldn't like make it against with the Isaac way. To make it as a lead nurturing. I mean, it's like in the future, they can know more about our programs and register for that. So we just like in the future, because our brand is very strong already. So we just sit there and then people come across us.
Your end goal of being running guys. I know it. I can see your vision on that. That's amazing. I really agree with you. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing, me. So I really hope that it gives us some thought and positive vibe in our oGV commission as well. Because personally, I like oGV a lot. I like that's where I growing up, and also I think I learned a lot like during the time of the journey, and it helps me like to be more aware on like actually how I can really contribute to other people. And I start looking into rather than only my own benefit, but also start looking into like how I can contribute for the world, because way before that I was not a person like this. So yeah, that's why I see like actually the product can really bring benefit is just because the current situation that we are in pandemic, and customer may change, or or maybe because our financial situation doesn't support us to do it. But I think the product is still be very relevant, and you are just the edge that we're hitting the time of the moment that Phoenix can like fly and burn again, right? So yeah, I think that's how I think about oGV situation. And last but not least, a few reminder in terms of the oGV pre-attraction conversion, what are things that we need to take into consideration. So it's just an overview to let you see what are the things you should talk with your marketing. First of all, it's about research and analysis. So you need to have the conversation in order to help you to draw the key data and insights about customer behavior and the factors and the environment that are affecting them. So that's why then you can look into like how you're going to design your funnel and goal setting as well, including like, for example, designing the marketing sales funnel, and also based on the customer journey, which you will have it in the next section. And then you can also set goals in terms of volumes and conversion as well. And the next one is about like time of operation and SOP. So because the timeline and also external factor are affecting a lot, right? So you need to take into consideration of the external timeline and internal global, national timeline that you have, and how it can like fit into the whole situation. And then that's why you can define your operation timeline and what is the deliverable timeline of the SOP. And then the next one will be about direction and strategy. So afterward, you also need to discuss with your marketing in terms of like how like the product direction going on, maybe like what means say like how we can use EWA or any other engagement activity, and still like those activities can help us like in the future about like how we converting how we can benefit the foundation of the product. And yes, that is a strategy you need to define in terms of marketing and product objective. The fifth one is about network management. So like what is the synergy plan between MC and LC? What is the communication, capacity building, and management routine? So that's why like at the end of the day, you know, LC is the one who do the strategy, but not you, right? So that's why your network management will be very important. Last but not least, about routine tracking. So how marketing and oGV can have a clear communication plan in terms of like plan and also routine as well. Or maybe you can also need to include like OGT in your conversation on like how the whole GX and marketing like corner, like how does it work, and like what are the things that you need to track in terms of both sides. And then yeah, so this is the recap of it. So I will put it here. And last but not least, you can go to this new campaign framework that me put it there. So although it's type OGT, but then like I check it already, the whole campaign idea and framework is the same. So you can use the same framework to design your marketing campaign for your oGV. And here is the wrap up of the session, like last few reminders. So this pre-attraction is a very important step right now for the entity, because I see it is as the way that like how we can restore like the GV product, and how we can make sure GV we run it in a better way in the future. For example, when I was oGV, a lot of EP going to exchanges because they want to go traveling. But at the end of the day, you know, GV, our value proposition, we are not solely for people just for travel. And if they only want to go to travel, they don't need to choose Isaac, because there's so many options out there. But we want to let people develop leadership, as well as they can create awareness that they are world citizen, and they have a good intention to helping people. So I think and they can and they have been like develop a way that they have the ability to make an impact on another person, right? So that's why I think it's also a good time for us to look into where is our customer that who really or like have this intention to develop themselves in this direction, or how we can educate, like what we talk about in SAFE, like our customer with this mindset. So that's why when they go on exchange, they will not have expectation mismatch. And second one is in terms of like, if you have done market research already, make sure you have checked all the minimum in case you're missing any information like afterward. So check through the whole list again that like Tina was talking in the morning. And last but not least is like how also what means that as well just now about market awareness, because the whole market actually every year it will refresh around 25% of it. Like imagine if you're a university, right? So every year you will have a new bunch of people coming in, and it contribute 1/4 of the market because you have 4 years of student, right? So that's why that's why if right now RGB doesn't have opportunity that allow us to really having apply and convert, like you can also look into BD and marketing, like how any EWA campaign can support us and to retain our market awareness. And at the end of the day, we can just maybe sitting here and customer will come and find us, right? Yeah. So I hope, I hope you guys can look it in as an opportunity on like how we can fixing like some issues that has been long inside of GV already. And I think this is a very good opportunity for us to look into like how we can running the product in a better way. And I think this is the right time, because if you do it well, I'm sure in the future your successor or your successor term, like it's gonna be benefiting them a lot, and the product will be even more relevant towards the whole towards the market, because a big difference in terms of GV and GT is like GT people naturally want a job, so that's why people are aware on that, right? But then for GV, actually people need to be educated that they need to have awareness that I have the ability and I want to like contributing for a social impact. And I think it will require you a lot in terms of like how you're selling the value proposition. And so I think the battle of GV and GT is very different, and I think you guys are fighting for another battle for it, and I trust you guys that you guys can really make it happen. Okay, so that's all for today. So until our market and condition is ready, yes, you need to do this again. And let's if you have any question, ask me and Gina for pre-attraction. That's all. So thank you so much. So nice, the animation. Yeah, that's all. Thank you, guys. Okay, let me stop recording. So you guys, we're gonna have the next session